Hello, welcome to Australian Book Travels and to Monday the 16th of September 2024. I'm getting a little bit formal, aren't I? Welcome everyone, welcome to our book recommendations for this week. It's cold, I've put the woolies back on. It is meant to be our spring, although early spring, but it has gone back to winter. No rain for us, unfortunately, but it is freezing cold. And from what I understand from friends and family, the probably an hour south of us, here near Bendigo, has had snow. So still in central Victoria, but they had snow over the weekend. So we really have gone back to winter. Anyway, speaking of which, a funny story for you before we begin our book recommendations. Oh, not a funny story. It was funny at the time, but it's actually quite a nice story. We have here on the property a shed that has a veranda on it, which allows us to park our car under it. So I guess it's a sort of a carport, what we would call a carport. But we tend to really stack our firewood for winter under it as well. And occasionally when we can, we put our car under it. But it's all made of steel, and there are, on the veranda section, there are steel posts. Unbeknownst to us, the posts, they're probably not quite 3 metres high. They're maybe 2.5 metres, something like that, and it slants off the shed. So, you know, it's sort of that lean-to or skillion, I think, roof. So the posts, we have about 3 or 4 posts, obviously, to support the veranda. And unbeknownst to us, we know that they're hollow, of course, because otherwise they would be extremely heavy and it would have been extremely expensive to install them. So they're hollow, but we didn't realise that at the top there's an opening, and it's hollow all the way through. So if you drop something from the top, it will land at the bottom of the post. And we have been encouraging bird life here, of course, over the few years. That's another story for another day. But we've had a little pardalote, which is a tiny little bird, probably no more than about, 7 or 8 centimetres long. Really lovely voice to the bird. Beautiful, lovely colours. This particular type of pardalote is yellow with sort of greeny grey feathering. And we've attracted more and more of them. We have quite a few in different areas of the property. And there's one that particularly hangs around the house, obviously with his mate or her mate. But he or she talks to us and follows us around the garden and all of that sort of thing, which is lovely. But the other day, on Saturday, we were getting ready to do all sorts of things. We have fire prevention works to do. I have the bees to attend to. And because I'm a beekeeper, so I have all my hives to tend to. So we were sort of getting ready for that over the next few weeks. And all of a sudden, my partner, Mark, said to me, I think the pardalote is down in this post. Anyway, cut a really long story short, yes, there was a pardalote right at the bottom of the post and could not get out at all, because they're quite a flighty little bird, and they don't walk up anything. They flit through the trees. And he couldn't, as he was spanning his wings, he couldn't fly up. And there was nothing to grip onto because it's metal. So nearly a whole day spent discussing and working out. We had to take off part of the roof of the veranda. So that was an expedition in itself. That was quite an exercise, because we had to unbolt the roof, the guttering, the fascia, the builder strapping from a corner of the roof, so that we could then see down properly into the post to see where this little bird was. Initially, we were using mirrors and trying to look through the mirror with a torch, so that we could then look down into the post, and that was we could do it. Was doable, but we really needed a jolly good look down the post. So we took off all of the roofing, and we also wanted the little bird to be able to see light and perhaps go to the light, try to flit up to the light, but that wasn't working. It did give us the ability to look down into the post, though. Anyway, Mark had the angle grinder out. He was going to angle grind the post off, and then we realised that was a bit dangerous for the bird. We had the post is bolted into a concrete block at the bottom, so we were trying to undo the bolts, and that wasn't working because, of course, they've been there underground now for 11, 12 years. So this was a whole process, everyone. Honestly, it was just unbelievable. Eventually, I realised that we have a Chinese elm, and the new branches are very thin. They're quite whippy-like, almost like willow. And they taper, so it's very thin at one end, very thin all the way along, and then it tapers as it gets towards the main bigger branches. Of course, it gets a little bit thicker. So we cut off, just by eye, we guesstimated that there was one branch that would actually get down the whole length of this post. So we pruned off the branch, and then we took off all the excess branches, because of course we just needed that little whippy bit, and we popped it all the way down the post with just enough at the top so that we could hold on to it and secure it. We just couldn't get the bird out. He just was not getting he or she was not getting the idea. So I decided, we decided, that we would leave the bird for the evening. It had been through enough stress. By this time, it was quite a few hours since he or she had fallen down the post. So we left it for overnight. During the night, I was so worried. On Saturday night, I was so worried about this bird. It was making me feel sick. I thought, if by the morning, if the bird hadn't worked out how to climb up the branch and to fly free, what were we going to do? So we had all of these ideas, we had strategies set up. Anyways, come Sunday morning, we had a look, and he was gone. He or she had flown, obviously worked it out that he could hop up the branch, and he'd flown out. And then it was a really strange thing, because he then appeared we have some wires to grow wisteria along this veranda, and so the wire is connected through each post. There's a few branches of wire and a few strands of wire, and they're tense as well, so that it can hold the wisteria when it eventually grows. And the little bird appeared on the wire, talking away, chattering away, almost as though he was thanking us, he or she. And as we said hello, and we hope it's you, we think it's you. And as we walked into the house, he or she followed us all the way through the garden. And then we were sitting in this room. We have large windows and doors just outside onto the veranda, and the little pardalote sat outside just looking through the window at us. So I'm sure it was the same one, and I have no doubt it was probably saying thank you because it was quite an ordeal. Anyway, so that was it was stressful for us, and of course we've not damaged the shed. Mark actually put it all back yesterday. It was all fine. But we were worried about that too because there were winds on Saturday night. And we thought, oh gosh, what if, because we had to peel back the roof, what if the wind catches it and then really damages it? But anyway, that all worked out. There was no problems at all. Mark put all the roof back and we saved the bird. So we were thankful for that. So that was just a story I needed to tell you because it's not often you get a bird down a steel post. I couldn't believe that he got through. The post is probably squared like that, but there was roofing that covered part of it. So in actual fact, he probably fell through a gap, not even that big really. So we don't know what he was doing. But anyway, a nice story to end that week and begin this week. And a bit of a funny story too, because as we were trying to view through the mirror, one of us we were up on ladders and we were trying to hold on to each other so that we didn't fall, and there was yelling going on, can you see it? Can you see it? And one of us would say, no, we can't. And, oh, it was just a mess. Anyway, it was funny. You had to be there, but it was funny. Okay, let's get on to these wonderful book recommendations. I really am chuffed with all of these this week. Again, as you all know, Australian author, Australian publishing house. Before I begin, in the excitement of telling you about the bird, I forgot that I have to wear these. Anyway, let's get on. Amelia Malloy, I have discussed these books before. Once last year before Christmas, I recommended them as a Christmas gift for anyone in your family, but particularly for children. They're a children's book, or older children, perhaps into early teens. But as I recommend, everybody should read every book, I think. There's no real age limit. I really believe that there's no age limit to what you read, or that you should be restricted to an age group or a particular genre. But Amelia Malloy's books, The Grandest Bookshop in the World, and the prequel, which was actually a sequel, The Bookseller's Apprentice. Now, these are published by Affirm Press, which is a publishing house here in Australia, in New South Wales, I think they are. I read these a couple of years ago. The Grandest Bookshop was actually published, I think it was in 2019. 2020, there you go. And this edition was published in 2021. So I read it probably in 2022, I think. And then this one, which is the prequel, but it was the sequel. This one was published in 2022. So I think I bought this last year, which was 2023. Anyway, this is set in Melbourne. It is fictional, but based on historical facts. It is about a bookshop in Melbourne, and it was considered the grandest bookshop in the world at the time, in the late 1800s, or mid to late 1800s, early 1900s. Mainly because Melbourne and Bendigo at that time during the gold rush, it was considered to be the wealthiest place in the world at that time. So it goes in keeping with, of course, we would have the grandest bookshop in the world, along with a lot of other grand buildings and grand businesses. But this was the grandest bookshop in the world, and it was owned and run by Mr. Cole. He had 6 children, I think, 5 or 6 children, and the bookshop, I think it was in Burke Street. The main building, or the shop front, was in Burke Street. It began as a stall in Paddy's Marketplace, which was in the same area, and then the Paddy's Marketplace was moved to now, I believe the Queen Victoria Market in Melbourne is where Paddy's Market originated, and then it moved to, from central Melbourne. Then, of course, with all the wealth, there were beautiful grand buildings built in Melbourne, and the grandest bookshop in the world was resident in one of those buildings. I think 3 or 4 stories. It had its own little zoo and orchestra and fernery, I think, and all sorts of things. It had tea rooms, but Mr. Cole was very much an advocate for reading. And so his philosophy was you didn't have to buy a book, you could just sit in the bookshop and read. Now, these books that Amelia Malloy has written, they do have historical facts at the back of the book, but this is based on the Cole family with magic involved. It's a fictional story, but it is set in the bookshop with the Cole family. Absolutely beautiful. If you have watched the channel for a while, you know that I really do adore these books. They are well written, they're well planned, and Amelia gives you really lovely historical facts. She has done a lot of background work, research on this story. Absolutely beautiful. And our protagonists really are our heroes, two of the children, Val and Ivy. No, not Ivy. Oh my goodness, I've just finished reading the book. Isn't that terrible? Val and Pearl. Ivy is one of the other little girls. Ruby passed away. She's deceased. And there's Valentine. Who are the other children? Linda. And I can't remember the others. Is that Linda, Ruby, Ivy, Pearl, and Val. There was another child. There is another child, but anyway, we won't go into that. So, Billy Pike features in this book. It's before the children arrived in Mr. Cole's life. Billy Pike works for, in this book, he's a young boy and he works for Mr. Cole. Magic involved. Our villain is the Obscurasmith. Magic involved. Villain saving the Mr. Cole and the bookstand or the book stall in the market, in Paddy's Market. And this is the Pearl and, this one features Pearl and, what did I just say? Valentine. Features them saving the bookshop again. This is the bookshop here then. Fantastic. You know I love them. Now, Amelia has written the third in the series. Very exciting. This is released. I was sent this through Amelia's publicist. This comes out, I think it's the 24th of September, the 24th of this month. This is The Lost Book of Magic. It is the third in the series, and from what I understand is the last in the series. I'm not impressed by that because I really would love to see more of this story. It's beautiful. There's a lot of magic involved, but they are magical books. The writing is beautiful. This one is, after all of these, so it is literally the third in the series. It's at the end of the 1800s, so 1895. And again, we are fighting an element of the Obscurasmith, who is the villain in this series. He's a magician and a naughty one, not a very good one, not a very nice one. Hardcover, I do intend, this is the first one, the grandest bookshop in the world, and I do intend to get this in hardcover because I do want to keep these on my bookshelf indefinitely. I think they're a beautiful series, Just beautifully written. The imagination that Amelia Malloy has is astounding. It's beautiful. And in actual fact, they're all complex, but this one is particularly complex. There's much more magic in this than the other two. And yeah, they are magical books. The imagination that Amelia Malloy has is astounding. It's beautiful. I recommend everyone read these. They look beautiful on the bookshelf, beautiful covers. As I say, I will try and get the hardcover in the first one in the series. When I came across it, it was only available in the paperback. But the covers are just astounding. I love them. I think they're beautiful. In fact, I'm not sure who, and the end papers, I think, on all of them, just let me get this for you. I think they're all, yes, they all have the rainbow, which was really sort of a logo, I guess, of the original Coles Bookshop. So you have, not in this paperback, I don't think it's in this paperback, no, but in the hardcovers you have the rainbow as the end paper. Absolutely beautiful. I love the text. The paper is quality, really lovely. And I love the size of these. They're very good for all hands of all sizes, particularly children and adults. They're lovely to sit in your hand, and they don't damage. The spines don't damage. So, you can hold them back to read, but then they recover nicely when you finish the book or you put the book down. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. This is just the media release here, just to remind me that this does come out on the 24th of September. I recommend everyone read these books. They are absolutely beautiful, but if you are looking for a book as a gift for Christmas, or a series preferably, you couldn't get better than this. And in hardcover, I think they're beautiful. Look at the spines on those too. I mean, they're just stunning. But yeah, I think as a gift, all three, they're really not that expensive either. I think here in Australia, I bought them for around about $20 each, thereabouts. So what a beautiful gift, really, for anyone, even for an adult, I think. I don't think you could go wrong. I think they're absolutely beautiful. So that is Amelia Malloy, a Firm Press Publishing. This comes out on the 24th of September. Honestly, do yourself a favour. They're absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I had fun reading it, and the only thing I am upset about is that Amelia, the indication is quite strong that is the last in the series. So I'm upset about that, but a beautiful series to keep. Okay, now the next lot, you all know I had, if you've been watching for a while, you know that I was reading some copies, advanced readers copies for Fremantle Press Publishing in Western Australia. And last week, I think I told you I read Dave Warner's When It Rains, and I recommended that. Absolutely loved Robert Edison's The Worsner's Tale. I have ordered the first two of Robert's books, and I'm waiting for them to arrive from Fremantle Press. So I ordered and paid for them last week, so I'm hoping they'll arrive this week. I'm really looking forward to reading more of his work, and so too with Dave Warner. I will, once I've read these, I think I will order a few more of Dave Warner's as well. Now the others that a couple of weeks ago that I enjoyed, not as much as these, but I did enjoy them. A Wreck of Seabirds by Kalia Olsen. A little bookmark there that's just fallen out. Jasper Cliff by Josh Kemp, and Cutler by David Wish-Wilson. All Australian authors, all Australian stories, and even begun in Australia. The Worsner's Tale begins in Australia and it goes over to the UK. I love them all, but these are actually my favourites, and I will be reading more of those. Now, this week I read the 6th book out of 7 that I have from Fremantle Press. This is Alan Carter's Prize Catch by Fremantle Press, and approximately 300 pages. 306 pages, there you go. Now, Alan Carter is an English writer, but he has lived here in Australia since the early 1990s. I think 1991, perhaps, I think. He lives in Hobart in Tasmania. This is set in Hobart, or set in Tasmania, in around Hobart. It is, well, it's a lot of things actually. It is a mystery. It's a murder mystery, but there's a lot going on. There's more involved. There is conspiracy between and in the Department of Defence, the environmental side of not the government, but private practice, and also in the police. A lot of conspiracy, a lot of corruption. A word of warning, it is so good. A word of warning, you really must be on your guard, or you really must be, you can't read this, the first few chapters, and then be distracted. You must really be vigilant when you're reading this, because initially, I beg your pardon, I've just moved the camera. It probably gave you a headache. Initially, there are a lot of characters and a lot of story to absorb. So it's fantastic. It's riveting. It's compelling. It is absolutely brilliant. I loved every minute of this. I really did. It's contemporary, so it's written in current day, but just a word of warning, there is a lot to absorb, well, throughout the whole book, but to begin. There are a lot of characters that we need to know, a lot of organisations, a lot of government departments, a lot of characters. So be aware of that. This is not a book that you can read whilst you're being distracted. Not that any of us like to be distracted when we're reading, but this is definitely a book that you have to keep your mind on. It's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It has a lot to do with the salmon industry. As you can see there are salmon fishing pods there. And the salmon industry does feature in Tasmania. I know I lived in Tasmania for around about 7 years, and where I lived, which was further south of Hobart, there was a fish and salmon company and breeding grounds that were quite a big part of that end of Tasmania and employed quite a few people. But there were environmental issues that were prevalent and of a concern in the Huon River. So yes, and further south. So yeah, look, it really, the places in here really resonated with me because I know them, because I lived there for the 7 years. So I enjoyed that side of it, because even when one of the characters goes into the supermarket, I know that supermarket. I have actually shopped in that supermarket. So that was a wonderful thing for me. But as looking at it, trying to look at it from a completely non-biased view, I think everyone will enjoy this, whether you know that Tasmania or not. It's a wonderful story, really good. And quite, I found there were some areas of it that, even though it is fiction, and some of it's based on fact, like, you know, the towns in Hobart and the locations and some of the industry that's there, but it's fictional. As I was reading it, There were a few issues that I thought, oh, that has been happening here in Australia, particularly to do with war crimes. So I found that very interesting. I'll just pop these back on. I recommend this. Now, this one, have I got that? Yes, I do. This is the media release, and this one is released on the 1st of October. The 1st of October, you will be able to purchase this. I recommend you do. With all of these books, I recommend please try and order them through independent bookshops. But if you can't, Fremantle Press do offer, in Australia, they offer free delivery if you order 2 or more books. And they do offer delivery overseas if you're ordering them from overseas, but there is a cost to that. And from what I understand, Fremantle Press have done a good deal with Australia Post to get the cheapest post available for you. But I recommend this one. It's absolutely brilliant. Conspiracies, there's so many organisations involved, private and governmental, including the Department of Defence and the police force. There's corruption, conspiracy. It's brilliant. And there are a lot of people involved, a lot of characters, and there is a lot of action. We return to places that are originally part of the plot or the plan. We return to those places the characters return to them for various reasons. It's brilliant. I love it. I recommend it. And I will be reading a lot more of Alan Carter's books because I enjoyed it so much. He has written quite a few and has received, like a lot of the authors from Fremantle Press, he has been the recipient of the Naomi Marsh Award for crime writing and the Ned Cully Award. Not, I don't think for this one, excuse me, sorry, I have a bit of a catch in my throat. Not for this one, I think, but for other books that he has written. Absolutely brilliant, love it, I recommend it. Do yourself a favour and definitely get that. You will enjoy it. Now, something a little different, I will try and be quick because I do actually have a book unboxing for you. For all of us, actually. The last one, but certainly not least, is a book I bought last year to show on the channel, and I just have never had the opportunity, and I thought I would do so today, considering that we have a lot of Australian books and authors. This is by Adam Goodes, I think that's how you pronounce it, and Ellie Lang, illustrated by David Hardy. This is a children's book, Somebody's Land. It is published by Allen and Unwin. And it was published, I think, a couple of years ago. It's not going to tell me, is it, very quickly? And I need to be quick because I have the unboxing for you as well. In 2021. Now, Adam Goodes, I am not a Australian football fan at all. I just don't follow it at all. I wouldn't be able to tell you anything about it. But from what I understand, Adam Goodes was a footballer, an Australian footballer. More importantly, he is an Indigenous Australian and is proudly Indigenous Australian. Now, he has written this. I think I bought it last year. I'm sure it was early last year. This is one in a series of 3. I'll show you the illustrations in a minute. There is another one called Ceremony and another called Back on Country. I am very I really do want to buy those because I love this so much. I really love the illustrations and I love the story behind it. It just says on the back here, for thousands and thousands of years, Aboriginal people lived in the land we call Australia. When the white people came, they called the land Terra Nullius. They said it was nobody's land, but it was somebody's land. A vibrant conversation starter to help young and old understand the importance of acknowledging country and the rich cultures of the traditional custodians of the land where we live. It's absolutely beautiful. I think, I'm not really caring that Adam Goodes was a footballer or not. I think he's a beautiful children's author. And he has collaborated with the right people. These are the end papers. These are all Australian. There's the boomerang and Australian animals. The illustrations are just stunning. Good job to all involved. Now, from what I know, this is meant to be a picture, an illustration of Adam Goods and his family and friends, and I think this is Ellie. This may be Ellie, and I think this one here is David Hardy. But forgive me if I'm wrong. I think it is meant to be them and their children. The illustrations here are just stunning. Honestly, are you seeing that? Am I getting the right? Flicking the book around. This is definitely a series that I think it talks here about colonisation and when the Europeans came. And in here too is they have the Indigenous in their corroboree or their ceremonies, and then at the end it just shows, again, I think this may be Adam Goods, but I could be wrong, it may just be another Aboriginal man, but they show you Melbourne as it is. I think that's Melbourne, I'm fairly sure, but it's one of the Australian cities anyway. Absolutely beautiful, and I think, you know, this is a real conversation starter for children and adults. I'm proud to have it on my bookshelf. I will be buying the other two when I see them. I haven't seen them as yet in any of the bookshops, but I will certainly be buying them when I see them. I think that's beautiful. So that's for children, definitely one for Christmas, I think. A beautiful book. So, unboxing. Let's get to it before I really take up too much of your time. And I hope the camera hasn't... Let me just... see if I can move you a little bit there. Oh, I'm sorry if I give you a headache and your eyes are all squinting and going everywhere. Okay, let's make this reasonably quick. I ordered these from Cracked & Spineless in Tasmania. If you've been watching the channel for a little while, you know that I do buy books from Cracked & Spineless in Hobart. Richard allows me to order books from him, and we wait until we can get a decent sized box, because then the post it's cheaper. So this has been probably, this one, in all honesty, it's probably been a year in the making. Since the last box of books that I bought from him, I had a box of books, but I only, for your benefit, I just quickly paid for half of them, and Richard sent them out to me. That was probably maybe 6 months ago, maybe not that long ago. So I had some left over, and in order to make it cheaper by post, I waited then until I ordered a few more, and then, you know, put them all together, and Richard sends them off to me. So one of them I ordered, Raymond Chandler. This is a British-American writer, as you all know. He's from really more of the... not Golden Age crime, but thereabouts. Yeah, actually he is, isn't he? I think he was, yeah, he wrote these in the 30s, 40s and 50s, I think. This is The Big Sleep and Farewell, My Lovely. He's very well known for these two novels, the crime novels. I did read these many years ago, lost my copies and forgot the stories actually, so I was happy to buy them again. His protagonist is a private detective, Philip Marlowe, and there have been, I think, TV series in America. I think they did a TV series. I could be wrong on that, but so these are, yeah, this is two of his most famous novels, and these two are actually set. Let me have a look. This is Penguin Random House, of course, but I think they're set in the 40s in America. Let me just see. Yeah, this one of them set in California. And I'm just reading the back here. The first two novels featuring the immortal creation Philip Marlowe, we see the cynical sleuth taking on a nasty case of blackmail involving a California millionaire and his two devil-may-care daughters. Then he deals with a missing nightclub crooner, plus several gangsters with a habit of shooting first and talking later. So I'm looking forward to reading that. And the beautiful British crime classic, British Library crime classics. This is A Verdict of 12 by Raymond Postgate. As you know, I collect these and read them. I love them. They're usually the republished golden age crime classics. Absolutely beautiful. So I will be reading that. This one, I'll just give you a blurb on the back. This is a woman is on trial for her life accused of murder. The 12 members of the jury each carry their own secret burden of guilt and prejudice, which could affect the outcome. In this extraordinary crime novel, we follow the trial through the eyes of the jurors as they hear the evidence and try to reach a unanimous verdict. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, I opened this earlier, but I haven't seen any of these books. I did see the top two because they weren't covered over, but I haven't seen all of these. So I'm seeing them for the first time as you are. Okay, this is Love and Marriage in the Age of Jane Austen. Boy, am I excited about this one. This is a hardcover and written by Rory Muir. It is, I think, about 500 pages. Nope, it is with index minus the index. Oh, gosh, that goes on and on. Perhaps it's not as big as I thought. There's a lot of index there, everyone. 328 pages, 329-ish. It's a quote from Persuasion. Pride and Prejudice. It is a truth universally acknowledged that a single man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a wife. Rory Muir's comprehensive, elegant and incisive book will delight readers by shedding new light on the subject that we thought we knew everything about but didn't. So that's that one. I'm looking forward to reading that. This is The Hidden Histories of Flowers, A Fascinating Stories of Flora by Maddie and Alice Bailey. Another hardcover. This is by Hardy Grant and Hardy Grant Books Publishing and is around about 147 pages. It just tells us the life of various flowers. It gives us beautiful illustrations. And because I really do like to know the heritage of these, and how humans have used flowers for culinary purposes, for love interests, and they feature in stories and novels through the centuries. So I do, and they use them for poison as well, of course. Agatha Christie used a lot of the herbs and poisonous herbs and flowers in some of her novels. So I'm looking forward to reading that. Let's have, I'll have to open this one for you. Okay, this is Freda Carlo. Absolutely stunning. Now this is covered, so let's have a look. Let's open it up if I can. I'll try. Oh, it's plastic. This is exciting, everyone. Let me just quickly open this up so that we can see some of the inside. I really like Freda Carlo's work. I just find her a fascinating individual. So let's have a look. Ooh. Okay, so we have a cover here for the... Oh. Okay. Okay, so the end papers are absolutely stunning. Now this is approximately 450 pages, 460 pages. It just gives you some of her works. It's a reference book, really. Some of her works and her life. Let's have a look. Oh, it's stunning. And just some of her life story, where the paintings feature in her life and what they're about. So I'm looking forward to that. Absolutely beautiful book. Can't wait to see that. Now, Oh, this is exciting. This is J.K. Rowling's The Christmas Pig. Now, I was meant to have this for last Christmas because I do a bit of Christmas reading. But of course, I'll be able to do it this year. So this is J.K. Rowling's The Christmas Pig, approximately 310 pages, and is by... was published in Great Britain in 2021 by Hodder and Stoughton. So I'm really looking forward to that. It's one boy and his toy are about to change everything. I cannot wait. That's a Christmas read. Is there any more in here? Do I have anything else? Oh, yes. Now these, in the last box of books, I bought some secondhand Ellen Montgomery books. This is the follow-up to those. I had half of them delivered last unboxing, and these are the ones, this unboxing and the Blue Castle. So that's the Goldenrod by Ellen Montgomery, and this is the Blue Castle. This is in very good condition, actually, for a secondhand book. Absolutely wonderful. Now this is, who was this published by? This was published by, I can't recognise the, it was Angus and Robertson. That's funny. I didn't realise that was their insignia. So this is Angus and Robertson, no longer published, but they were here in big publishers and booksellers here in Australia in the, well, certainly when I was younger, but they have been since the late 1800s, I think, or early 1900s. This was first published in 1926 and is approximately 320 pages. This one was published, this may be Angus and Robertson as well, if we're lucky. No, this is George G. Harrop and Co. And was published in 1920. Oh no, this one was reprinted in 1952. But it was first published in 1926. So that's those. So I think that's it, is it? Yes, that's it. I'll try not to bash the camera. So that's those, the secondhand books. These are all from Cracked and Spineless in Hobart. Richard is really good, really good. He's really patient, and he has some brilliant books, secondhand and new. So every now and then, when he has some really good books, when he shows them, he publishes them on Facebook, and he'll say, look, I have an abundance of these books and they're going out at this price, or these ones are secondhand. I'm happy to do a good deal on that. And, you know, it's the first in, first served. So that's those from Cracked and Spineless. And of course, we're going to have a crash there. And of course, this book recommendation, I definitely recommend Alan Carter's Prize Catch, Fremantle Press, but do buy if you can, from your independent bookshop, and The Lost Book of Magic by Amelia Malloy. Both were fantastic, thoroughly enjoyed them, and would be a great gift for Christmas. That's what I think, or for yourself. Why not? Okay, everyone, I think that's it for now, so that I don't prattle on too much. We do have the book competition coming up. I will be uploading a separate video on Tuesday, the 1st of October, that will give you all the details of the book competition. I will be taking a break from the travel videos in a couple of weeks' time, but I will explain all of that in another video, only because I'm a beekeeper. I have a lot of work to do with my bees, and we also have a lot of fire prevention work to do here on the property. You just can't be interrupted. I can't be travelling everywhere and trying to do all of that work as well. So I am taking a break, but I'm not taking a break from the book recommendations. I will, because they're easy. I can sit here at home on a Monday morning and recommend the books to you. So we will continue with the book recommendations, but there will be 2 weeks, I think, where I will take a break from the travel videos. Having said that, after that, we will, I am travelling after that. I'm looking forward to taking you into another state. just for a few weeks, we will be travelling around, and we'll be going to places looking for bookshops and book binders or street free libraries and so forth, but it will be in another state. So I'm looking forward to that, taking you, but there's a lot of preparation to do before I do that. What else is there? I know that there were some other things I wanted to discuss with you, but it's lost on me. I should have a list, shouldn't I? But I can't, I didn't, and I didn't make a list. I thought it was all up here, but I think I've lost it. Doesn't matter. Yes, do wonderful books. Do think about buying those and reading them. They're absolutely brilliant. Unboxed for you. I think that's it. Oh, no. Oh, no. There is something I do want to discuss with you. What I wanted to do, we watch two particular YouTube channels on narrowboats in England. One of them is the Narrowboat Pirate with Heidi, who is, she travels around on her narrowboat in the canals and rivers in England. And the other one is the Mindful Narrowboat with Vanessa. Two brilliant women, very capable, independent and really talented ladies. Now, I will put a link to their channels either in the description box or perhaps in the subtitles for you, because I really do recommend. They're beautiful, really talented ladies. They're funny, and Vanessa actually focuses on nature. She explores nature, and she keeps a journal at the end of each of her videos. She is a poet as well, a really good, talented poet. And at the end of each channel, she writes in her journal, in her nature journal, and she also draws. So I am not an artist at all, but I have over the years painted in oils and watercolours, and I draw as well. I'm not a drawer. I just like the idea of drawing. I wish I was a talented drawer, but I'm not. But it is a mindful activity to do. Anyway, I'll put a few pictures here that, they're very basic. They're very rudimentary sort of drawings, but I'll put a few. You'll probably see them come up on the screen around me. Over the years I've drawn, and particularly last year I was really interested in getting back and drawing a lot of nature, actually. I'm interested in drawing nature. Now, Vanessa does that, and she's so talented. And I was watching during the week one of her videos. I think she posted it about a month ago, but I've only just been able to watch it now. And she was recommending a book that shows you how to draw and journal better. So it's the Law's Guide to Nature and Drawing, I think. Look, I'll try and put a link or a picture of it on the screen for you if you're interested. I just found it. I find it really a mindful practice to do. I enjoy it. Like I say, I'm not good at it. I'm not professing to be anywhere near an artist. I am not. I wish I was, but I'm not. But I obviously, practice makes perfect anyway, or practice makes better. So it is my intention to do that. And I was thinking of perhaps beginning a nature journal. So I thought it was interesting that Vanessa recommended this book. I may purchase the book. I have done a little bit of research on it. It's not here in Australia. It's not a particularly cheap book, so I am mindful of that. I think it's about $60 or $70. So it's not overly expensive, but it's not super cheap. So I will have to be careful of that. But I will put the links to Vanessa's channel, The Mindful Narrowboat, and to Heidi as well, because I have said in the past, I do like to support other YouTubers, particularly those I think who are doing a great job and are really giving to communities. I know, we all do this to perhaps support to support the lifestyle. Heidi does Heidi has the YouTube channel, but she's a DJ, so she does some DJing gigs around the UK, and she sells at various fetes and fairs a lot of pirate paraphernalia, and she has a badge making business too. So she has all of those businesses, and I think Vanessa, and I am interested in buying them actually, Vanessa has started selling her journals from each year of her drawings and poems. She currently has 2 for sale from, I think, 2022 and 2023. I'm hoping she continues that because it would be a lovely collection to have. So yeah, so she does that, and I think Vanessa teaches online. She's a school teacher, but they travel also on their narrowboats and have the YouTube channel. So yes, I like to support other YouTubers. I like to support independent bookshops and literacy, places of literacy, so libraries and street-free libraries, independent publishing houses and Australian publishing houses, authors, and as you know, I'm really wanting to support also the towns. This is one of the reasons why we began travelling around Australian country towns. I wanted to support those and show you not only their bookshops and their libraries and street-free libraries, but just give you a little bit of history that Australia has, both Indigenous where I can and European. So I will put Heidi and Vanessa's a link to their channels for you, and I'll just show you the drawings that I've done, and perhaps encourage you. Perhaps you're thinking of drawing or starting a journal, and this may be a really good inroad. It may pique your interest and excite you, to get you, motivate you to perhaps do exactly that. I'm going to try. I would love to hear if you're interested in drawing, or if in nature journaling or painting. I'd love to hear from you if you are interested, or if you are an artist. Please do leave a comment. I would love to hear from you. But don't look at my drawings. If you're an artist, don't look. I don't want to be embarrassed. Anyway, everyone, I hope that those books give you an interest, or they interest you, or give you an idea for perhaps a present for Christmas. They're certainly wonderful books. I generally try not to recommend anything that I don't like myself. Although, of course, you know, what I don't like, perhaps you will like. So it is a balancing act. But anyway, hopefully you're enjoying the book recommendations. Okay, everyone, my feet are freezing. It is so cold. It is cloudy. It really does feel like it's going to snow, although it's not, but not here right here in near Bendigo, but it does feel so cold. Anyway, I will try and upload this for today. I hope you're all well and you're not as cold as we are, and that you're enjoying your reading, whatever and wherever and however much that is. I hope you're enjoying your reading. Until next time, the travel video or the next book recommendation, take care, everyone. Stay safe, happy reading, safe travels, and I'll see you next video. Bye for now.